Hi everyone, so second video review for this week is for Mine to Keep by Wendy Hudson. If you want to check out my review, I have just posted that, so if you're on YouTube there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog then there is a link within the post, and this is the video review. So Mine to Keep by Wendy Hudson is literally edge of your seat stuff. Like, there's no other way to describe. It's basically Wendy's writing style, and edge of your seat is perfect for this. Erin heads to Scotland. She is in search of answers for childhood nightmares that are kind of really plaguing her, and she ends up staying in this lovely location. It's really picturesque, and she quickly finds a connection with Abigail and her brother George, who run this castle where she is staying. I mean, a castle, like, oh my god. And she starts asking around, and basically she's got to decipher what's gossip, what's the truth. So she kind of embarks on getting to the bottom of all she's learned, and kind of finds herself really haunted by having to face her fears in a much more realistic way than she has before. And you can't really say too much else about the book because you give away way too many spoilers, and you don't want those, because oh my god, you've got to read and experience this. It's so good. So Wendy has so delivered with Mine to Keep. I'm so excited. I was literally, like I say, on the edge of my seat. I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to know what that was going to be. I was like nervous but excited for what Erin was going to discover, and just wondering what was going to happen when she did. Like, literally everything. Questions, complete uncertainty. Take a moment, breathe after you turned like a page and you realised that you didn't quite know yet, but you had a breather, because literally you were holding your breath at moments, and that made it really intense. It was quite intense, and Wendy very cleverly managed to lull me a few times into forgetting just what it was that Erin was doing, because she used this nice imagery and this cozy setting with the really cute moments shared between Abigail and Erin as their friendship blossomed, to like lull you a little bit away from your questions. And so then when they came racing back, you were like, whoa, 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 put the brakes on, put the brakes on, put the brakes on, I'm not ready. You have to like totally build up to that, like heart racing and, you know, all these things, like when she's discovering this stuff. And you've been lulled by the cute moments. You've forgotten for a moment, and I love that. That distraction technique really works in thrillers and mysteries and stuff like this, because it, for a minute, it just, you've got all the suspense building, then you forget a little bit, and you feel safe for a moment, and then you're like literally pulled right back into it. But like I say, the imagery and the scenery in this was just beautiful. I could see it, I could imagine it all so clearly from the descriptions that Wendy's used, and in a way it added a touch of magic to this story, because it's a nice edge to offset the darker elements surrounding Erin's story. And I had to cry when Erin had difficult moments. I couldn't stop myself. My heart was in my throat when everything was, you know, starting to be revealed and it was all coming together, and you feared what was going to be the outcome, and you just hoped for the best. But I'm really glad that upon arriving in Scotland she managed to find this really good friend in George, and that support in Abigail as she built this relationship with her, because Abigail did have her own insecurities, which made for that little bit of angst and drama between the two of them, especially when she didn't really know what was going on with Erin. And so that them being there to support her, because if she hadn't had them, I dread to think, I really do. But this is what I admire about Wendy and her stories. They have this element of romance which sits really nicely in the story, but it doesn't overpower it. It doesn't get in the way of the building of the mystery and the thriller through the suspense and the discovery of putting the pieces together. She uses these darker themes, and at times they can be quite controversial, and I would say the darker theme running throughout Mine to Keep is quite controversial, and you might think that when you start reading it, but you should stick with it, because when you when bits are revealed to you, you will understand. So and I could totally relate to why what happened. So I do understand it, even though it's enough to give you chills. It really is. So I love that. It's what gives Wendy's stories that memorable edge. Mind to Keep's definitely unforgettable. You won't forget it. It's a journey. You're on it with Erin, and it's very deeply emotional, so it will stay with you. It's one of those things that it's like you know, if you watch a certain drama series on television and it's quite intense and it's quite emotional, this story's like that. And therefore you remember, maybe not the entirety of every little detail, but you remember the premise of the story and what happened, and you'll always want to read it again, because you'll always want to remind yourself of the bits that you have faded slightly in your mind, the cuter moments or the clues, or you want to go back and read it again even just to look for clues. That's always a good one as well. I definitely want to read it again to look for further clues, because I did not expect what was coming. So it's quite an experience, and whether you've been through a similar experience or not, you can definitely put yourself in all of the characters' shoes and completely understand where they're coming from. So I really enjoyed reading it. I highly recommend it, and I'm excited for what Wendy is going to bring us next. I just love Wendy's stories. They are fabulous. Hopefully we're going to see more from Erin and Abigail in the future too as well, because this was very much about them meeting, finding one another, and Erin finally, you know, being able to bury some past demons, hopefully. So I really hope we're going to see again from them in the future. But on that, like I say, I really enjoyed it, highly recommend it. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of Mind to Keep by Wendy Hudson, which I really hope you will. If you've read Mind to Keep, I would love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know what you thought of it, and the story and everything, because if you really enjoyed it, I'd love to know. If you haven't read Mind to Keep yet, but it's on your to be read list, you're planning to read it, or you're now really intrigued and thinking, I've got to read that story, again, please comment below, please let us know, because it's always great to hear what you're reading. And if you do read it, I hope you enjoy it. Bye!